the best in the business, Khris Broussard, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, appropriately, the best or nothing. All right, Broussard, I don't know if there's anyone at the network that I more constantly disagree with about current NBA stuff than you. You and I argue all the time about it. But I also don't think there's anyone at the network that I more constantly agree with historically about NBA stuff than you. You and I talk about this a lot. For the audience, if you could, can you put what Giannis has done in these NBA Finals, primarily these last two games, in a historical perspective?
Well, it's just one of the best shows we've seen so far in NBA Finals history. To score 40 points in back-to-back games, as you know, I'm sure you said it earlier in the show, he's one of only 3 players to go with a 40-point double-double within the ever in NBA history. Shaq and LeBron being the other 2. And, Nick, this is a super team era, as we know. If Giannis wins this championship, he will have done it without a super team. And I'm not saying he's better than these guys, but I'm saying that's something LeBron James never did, or at least LeBron in LA wasn't a super team, but he had a second superstar in Anthony Davis. Kevin Durant has never won it without a super team, and he may never win it without a super team, right? He's got one in Brooklyn. So for Giannis to do this would be tremendous. And look, we'll see where it goes, but if he wins it this year, then you would think this is the beginning of multiple championships, and this will be a big one. When you nitpick between the all-time greats, you'll say, wow, well, Giannis won it with Khris Middleton as his Robin versus Steph Curry as Kevin Durant's Robin, if you want to put it in that order. So I think this is huge for him if he can win it. If he loses his championship, then the questions remain. And I heard you earlier talking about how he gets, scrutinized beyond belief. That will continue if he does until he wins a championship. So he would get the monkey off his back if he does it now.
Well, and you and I have also talked about, his style, and that you've made, I think, a smart point, which is one of the reasons people do scrutinize him is because he does not always play to his strengths exclusively. Right? Like I said, Shaq couldn't shoot jump shots either. And your point is, well, yeah, but Shaq didn't shoot jump shots. Giannis, because of where he plays on the floor, occasionally seems to have to. Last night, I know he shot 2 threes, but one of them was the end of a quarter. So throw that one out. That was a buzzer beater. Only shot really 1 3 within the flow of the offense. He was 13 of 13 inside the restricted area. And here is my feeling for the series. I don't think that really was an outlier. Like, 13 of 13 is maybe a bit of an outlier. But do you see it when you were watching games 2 and 3? Do you see anything Phoenix can do? It's like, oh, that'll slow him down. Or is it more, you've just got to overcome what he's going to do?
Well, look, you know what else is not an outlier? The 40 points. Because these two teams have played 5 games this season. Giannis has 40 or more in 3 of them. He scored 47 on them in a regular season game. So they can't stop him. But here's the thing, Nick, and this I've been wanting Giannis to play this way all season, if not longer. Nobody could stop him. He's not Shaq, and I know he gets compared to Shaq, and I understand that. But Shaq would just post you up on either block and use his strength to overpower you. Giannis is going to get to the rim in a different way. Sometimes he'll post. Sometimes he'll set a pick and roll. Sometimes he'll flash and dive. Sometimes he'll get the offensive rebound and score. Sometimes he'll do it in transition and use the Euro step. And other times he'll do it driving from the perimeter. Whatever the case, he can get to the rim and inside the paint at will. Okay? And if you do it those different ways, that limits the effectiveness of a wall that you build up, that defenses try to build up against him. So my thing is always play to your strengths, Giannis. They could have done this against Atlanta. Capella is a great defender, but he's small. He's smaller than DeAndre Ayton. They could do this against anybody, but they often don't. And that is why you said you hit it on the head. We're talking about why Giannis gets criticized. A big part of it is that he's so often showcasing his weaknesses. Okay, with the three-point shot, the mid-range jump shots, dominate in the paint. And as you improve on the jump shot, then you can move out and start shooting more. Shaq shot 22 three-pointers in his career. Giannis has shot 1,300. I get it was a different era, but still. I played ball with Shaq, Nick, at his home in Orlando. He drilled the game-winning three-pointer in my face. So he could shoot threes, but he never did.
Wow. Broussard.
No, I know I wasn't giving Jrue Holiday defense, but still.
Still, okay. So, all right, let's talk about what I think people are not going to be comfortable saying, even if the Bucks win the title, which is, hey, the guy who was league MVP at 24, and then league MVP and Defensive Player of the Year at 25, and then Finals MVP and champion at 26, that guy, he's the best player in the league. And it's because of that kind of hole in his game. But those credentials, that's how you become the best player in the league. I came up with this list of kind of the timeline, and I think we can show it here, of the best players in the league. And if we wanted to go all of NBA history, add Bob Pettit to it if you want. But you have, I don't know if we can show it or not, but you have Wilt and Russell, there it is. Wilt and Russell to Kareem, to then Dr. J and Moses, then Bird when he won his 3 straight MVPs, then Magic, then to Michael. During Michael's retirement, Akeem obviously took it. Then Michael again, Shaq to Duncan to LeBron. If Giannis wins this title, do you think it's fair to say he should be the next face on this list?
I think it depends on how he plays in these next, 2, 3, 4 games, however many are left. Because 3 or 4, I guess, is left, right? Because he has, I hate to keep belaboring this point, Nick, but he has to play to his strengths. If he plays like he did last night, the rest of this series, then yes, I don't care that he can't shoot a 17-footer consistently if he doesn't shoot a bunch of them. Or a three-pointer. If he doesn't shoot a bunch of them, you said it earlier, Kareem, Shaq, they couldn't shoot the three for the most part, but they didn't go out and do it all the time. So if he plays to his strengths and dominates the paint, and when he's on the perimeter, he can do a lot of other things from the perimeter. He's a very good passer. He can get to the lane, occasionally on the drive from the perimeter. So as long as he plays to his strengths, then I don't have a problem calling him the best player in the world. But don't be out there shooting a ton of jump shots. And I know some people might say you're contradicting yourself because you want Ben Simmons to shoot, right? Ben's a different animal. Ben's not as aggressive as Giannis. He doesn't play in the paint as much as Giannis does. And so I do want Ben to shoot a little bit more, even if he's not going to make it. Just be a threat.
That's not contradicting yourself.
But yeah,
that's not contradicting yourself at all. Because Ben's weakness prevents his strengths from showing. Ben's weakness prevents him from wanting to go to the foul line. Giannis is not afraid. Yeah, I loved so much the video of Giannis and PJ Tucker in practice when Giannis was like, I airball free throws. Don't care. Go back at it the next time. Like, he just seems in such a good place mentally where, and it goes back to before the playoffs when he said, don't get too high, don't get too low. Don't know if this year will be different than last year. We'll see. He just seems to be in a great spot. I want to go to the other side before we leave because you and I didn't get a chance to talk about this morning. I think there's a very easy way to determine if someone's a superstar or not. Can they have a terrible game in a big spot and not get eviscerated for it? Jason Tatum can, Trae Young can, Devin Booker can. So they're stars, they're not superstars. Devin Booker was 3 for 14 last night, and his coach didn't play him in the fourth quarter. I think Devin Booker's an awesome player. Devin Booker also, since the game he broke his nose to now, it's 8 games, shooting 36%, 29% from 3, and hasn't been over 50% once. Your thoughts on Devin Booker this series and Devin Booker and Monty Williams' decision to bench him for the fourth?
I think what happened last night with Monty, I don't think it was a benching. I think Monty took him out, the last minute of the third quarter, so about 48 seconds left, I think, in the third quarter. He's sitting at the start of the fourth. I think Monty was saying, they're down 23. I think he's saying, look, let's see if we can get this, within striking distance, and then I can put Book back in and we'll try to make a run. They never did. And if you notice, within the first 3.5 minutes of the fourth, he took out DeAndre Ayton and Mikal Bridges for the rest of the game, too. And then 5.5 minutes into the fourth, he took out Chris Paul. So I don't think it was a benching. I just think he didn't want to throw Book in. The game's over.
Broussard, I assume you're going to be on Speak later, the radio show tonight. NBA Finals, man. Broussard works 18-hour days. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining me this morning, this afternoon, and tomorrow morning. Talk to you soon, my friend.
All right, my brother. Peace.
There's the great Khris Broussard, the best NBA analyst in the world.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.